all gathered dignitaries here. I welcome one, I welcome all. But, my lords and ladies, I welcome you this day with news. A big ooh would have been nice there. Let's try this again. I said, I welcome you this day with news. I was really after shock and awe, not sarcasm. In this year of our Lord, 1359, after some 20 years and more of constant warfare, and yea, my lord, I know that we have suffered. I can see that you have suffered. I know that we have suffered at our enemy's hands, but we have enjoyed great victories. Chelmswood, Trebuchet, Poitiers. But, my lords and ladies, the news is good. And not yet. Oh, it's going to be a long 10 minutes, isn't it? My lords and ladies, the news is good. And I expect to hear a big loud cheer when I say, our enemy is on his knees! Yet, still he resists. So our great king, Edward III, that mighty Plantagenet, has decreed a display of Plantagenet might. Iron will and resolve is what is required. That you're all required and commanded to present yourselves on the south coast with bow, sword and dagger to take on our enemies. Also that we are commanded to test our machines of war. It is well known throughout the land that this castle boasts the world's largest, the world's most powerful. Can I hear the biggest, the loudest cheer for the Warwick Castle, Trebuchet? Not only do we command the power of the world's largest working siege engine, we have its most able crew, ready, standing to attention, ready to go like clove springs. But they will not start. They will not start till you give them the correct command word. The command this day is taken from the 14th century battlefield, and it will be the cry of havoc. So on the count of three, cry havoc, and watch this crew leap into action. 1, 2, 3! And watch them leap. Can't hear it. Guys, you've got to put a bit of effort in here. I want hands raised high, voices raised higher, as loud as you can. After 3, 1, 2, 3! Let's let the dogs of war! And so begins, my lords and ladies, the mighty Trebuchet. Earlier versions of this machine would use beasts of burden, horses and oxen. Teams of these animals would be yoked to the rear of the device, and by dint of their brawn alone, they would fall down on the massive throwing arm. But taking horse and oxen into a battlefield zone is fraught with danger and difficulty, costs money, manpower and resources. Also, let's be honest, you're taking livestock into a siege line, where there just happen to be a great many hungry soldiers. Those soldiers aren't looking at your horse and oxen thinking, oh, you know what, that's a valuable military strategic asset. They're thinking, oh, they're providing lunch. So very soon those animals will disappear, leaving your war machines idle. So another answer was sought, another answer was found, and this, by the 13th century, is the best of those answers. This is what was passed at that time for a trebuchet. The way it works is quite simple. We have two soldiers in either wheel. Connecting both wheels is an axle, and that axle in turn is attached to the throwing arm via that heavy-duty tow rope. So the men's action of walking in the wheels turns the axle, spooling the rope, pulling down on the throwing arm. Hopefully I've made it sound simple. The crew are making it look easy, but it's not. Hard work, trust me, I know. I've been coming to this castle now for almost a quarter of a century. 10 years ago, I have to admit, amongst all my various duties, I used to sneak away and sit exactly where you guys are. And I watched this thing over a matter of weeks being constructed. It was fantastic. And then, once it was finished, the guys over there noted my interest and they called me over. And they wanted me to walk in wheels. So would you mind doing it and helping out? Oh, I jumped at the chance, I have to admit. It was wonderful. Or so I thought. What a privilege. For the next 3 seasons, whenever they needed help, they'd call on the bowmen to come and help them with the winding of the wheel. And what was a privilege? Soon, very soon, lost its shine. Became a little irksome, became a little tiresome. Now I avoid it like the plague, I have to admit. It's hard work. As you're walking in those wheels there, you're pulling down on that massive throwing arm. The throwing arm is made of 2 ash trees and weighs 1 ton. You see the counterweight, which is now risen out of the heart of the machine. That counterweight is made of oak. With all the metal work with it, you've got another ton right there. There's 2 tons. Add to that the 5 tons of ballast we've got in there. And you're seeing 4 people in a matter of moments raising upwards of 7 tons. Yes, that weight is offset a little by the pulley, but not much. Can you imagine those guys and girls walking in those wheels today? The lactate will build up in the legs. The breath will be catching in the thoracic cavity. Sweat will be going into the eye as they labour to pull down on that massive weight. Also, the sun's not helping today as it glints through the slats of the floorboards, blinding them with every revolution of the wheel. Also, they rock the wheels ever so gently, so they induce a sense of nausea, actually quite acute nausea. If you suffer from travel sickness, we never recommend you get in these wheels. It's not good throwing up in a wheel, where a floor becomes a ceiling. Every revolution. It's not good. However, what we want to do is we want to get that A-frame, that arm at the A-frame at the back. That A-frame is where we have the trigger. The one thing we can't afford is for that heavy arm to actually hit that A-frame at the back, because it may well damage it. So they have to sort of nestle together. Hanging off the arm is a metal eye. The trigger itself is the hook. So we need to bring this eye and hook together. The trebuchet winders, our men and women in the wheel, they can't see how far they've got to go. So you can see our trebuchet mistress Lauren, we're at the rear of the device. She's acting as the eyes and ears of this machine. The guys in the wheel trust her with their lives because they have to, they can't see what they're doing. And she of course will guide that arm down. In a moment we'll be hearing her shout to the crew how far they've got to go. Indeed, what we'll do here and now is I'll shut up for just a few seconds and we'll listen to the trebuchet mistress communicating directly with her crew. Four feet. The next command you're going to hear is winders, slow and hold. Right there. So now the trigger and the eye are in a line. They go in, they hold. We hold the trigger in place with a metal pin. The trebuchet mistress now goes to the rear of the device and she places on a steel chain. We are locked down. It's now safe for the trebuchet mistress and the crew to walk within the wheels. However, we have the chain holding the arm down, we have the pin immobilizing the trigger, but we do have inadvertently another safety. Look at the tow rope. It's absolutely taut. That rope that's pulled the arm down, that which has been beneficial, is now quite frankly a hindrance. It's in the way. If we were to pull the trigger now, nothing would happen. All you would see is that rope hold the arm. We've witnessed it pull the arm down. We know it will hold the arm indefinitely. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to get rid of that rope. And all we do is we order our winders in the wheel to turn round. One will come out the wheel and sit on the brake, and the other will face in the opposite direction. And what they'll start to do is unwind the rope they've wound on. It's a very, very simple process. Almost immediately when they start, you'll see the tow rope begin to slack. We have to get rid of all of that rope though. We can't leave a part of it on the axle. That arm needs to have complete free movement. However, for the winders in the wheel, this is where it gets dangerous, especially in medieval times. This job was deemed one of the most dangerous jobs in medieval life because of the amount of accidents that happen. And if an accident's going to happen, it's going to happen now. You see, when you're pulling down the arm, it's not dangerous particularly, it's just hard work. Every rotation of the wheel is checked by the weight of the counterweight. However, when you're unwinding that rope, that counterweight no longer applies. It's been locked up on the trigger. Look how easily the wheel, I mean we're taking it really easy today, but that wheel is already flowing quite easily. I've seen people actually sprint in these wheels full tilt. If you fall in this wheel, your body weight is so slight, you will not stop its rotation. You will go to the top of the wheel, you will fall, and you will break your back on the axle. And that would be a tragedy. You're a heartless lot. I'll try that again. I said that would be a tragedy. We can't replace these winders till next Wednesday. I mean, really. Of course, if your arm falls outside the area of the trebuchet wheel as well, look at the upright of the wheel and the upright of the machine. They do pass each other. You could very easily lose an arm here as well. So we've got someone on the brake slowing the wheel down, making sure we control the speed and the pace. In a moment, our trebuchet winder and our brake person will change places and you'll see our Trebuchet mistress Lauren. She's busy working at the rear of the machine, hoisting up the tow rope, and she'll be doing that all the way through and setting the sling. All that's going to happen before your very eyes, because I'm about to go off on a bit of a tangent now. You see, everybody, we've got a set of missile. What are we going to lose? Now, in medieval times, we got options. Oh, do we have options? We could go for the ultimate sanction. The ultimate sanction back then would have been fire. Imagine a big, heavy 60-kilo rock, maybe as much as 80 kilos, wrapped in material, then doused in fuel and set alight. One release every 6 minutes. That's 10 releases in an hour from one machine. Typically, you would find 10 or 12 of these machines. We are looking at somewhere between 100 and 120 looses in an hour. Can you imagine the firestorm I would bring? Can you imagine the conflagration of flame that would be? Imagine if you can, that big black pillar of smoke that would be rising to the heavens, marking my presence, and everyone would know the Plantagenets are here. When we turn up, you bow down, you acquiesce. If you do not, I'll burn you out. What do you mean, yes? It's a hard lesson. It's a lesson we employ. But to be honest, we don't employ that all the time. If we burn everywhere out, yes, we deny it to our enemy. But also, let's be honest, we deny it to ourselves. This could be a place of community, it could be a place of business, a place of commerce, a place of tax, a place of skill, of craftsmanship and artisanship, of trade routes. All this is gone if you burn it out. You lose it. So maybe there are other options. Maybe we can go to the polar opposite. Maybe what we can do is reduce the damage to an absolute minimum. Maybe we attack the weak point of the castle. Now, the weak point of the castle is not necessarily architectural. It's not the gate or the tower or to form a breach. Actually, every castle on the planet shares the same weak point. You probably don't know what it is, but it's you guys. If I attack the people inside the castle directly and try and hurt them, make their life miserable, maybe I can end this siege quickly. Oh, and do we have methods? What we could do is take the rotting carcasses of animals, leave them getting rank and putrid and diseased in the sun, let them truly rot away, and then send this horrible smelling, rank, diseased animal flesh sailing over the castle walls. So as you go about your daily business, you suddenly find you're getting covered in rank, diseased animal flesh. How does that sound? Oh, you're pretty chill. All right then, they normally break at that point. All right, I'll up my game just a bit. You're making me work a little bit harder this morning. All right, we'll do this. What we could do, well, as a besieging army, we don't only take soldiers with us, no, we'll take some serving staff, but we also take lots of tradesmen, believe it or not, lots of craftsmen, people such as blacksmiths, whitesmiths, we're going to take coopers, we're going to take carpenters, we're going to take wheelwrights, we're going to take stonemasons, rough masons. Also, we're going to take potters. And these potters are going to be making pots. And these pots we're going to fill full of a substance. This substance is called lime, quicklime. And we're going to send pots of quicklime sailing over the castle walls. As they smash on the cobbled streets, these pots, you're all going to get covered in lime. Now, for those of you who do not know, quicklime has a very unfortunate side effect. When it mixes with moisture in your skin, in your eyes, and in your mouth, it turns corrosive. It reacts violently. You're going to be in serious pain. It's going to be burning, it goes in your mouth, it's going to be pain, it goes in your eyes, you're going to be blinded. How does that sound?
Cool.
Still pretty chill. You're not at all fazed by that. Normally that's me done. All right, look, you've asked for this. I did not want to go this far. All right, what we could do is we could take the heads of our enemies and cut them off. Take off their body parts, their hands and their legs, chop off their floppy bits and stick them all in the sling, and send bits of human body part sailing over the castle wall. So as you go about your daily business, suddenly you find you're catching Uncle Joe's head. How does that sound? What do you mean you don't like Uncle Joe? All right, you've made me do this. I did not want to go this far, but now I will. We'll take these pots, and we'll fill these pots. We'll forget the quicklime. I'm going to get nasty. What we do is we fill these pots full of, how do I say this? We've got a lot of soldiers on the siege line. We've got a great big latrine pit. It's full. We fill that pot full of poo. We send pots of poo sailing over the castle walls, and you all get covered in poo! I said you all get covered in poo! horrible history at the moment. This is actually the worst thing I can do. A lot of these soldiers, believe it or not, that are sieging, they've been there a long time, and they have a malady. It's called dysentery. Children, if you don't know what dysentery is, ask your parents over lunch. Medieval man called it the bloody floods. It's worse than the germ warfare we know. A third of you will easily die from this. I'm not sending over poo, I'm sending over dysentery. It is heinous. But now I've brought the mood down, I think it's time we brought it back up again. What we could do is form a breach in the walls. As we form a breach in the walls, I send my army in. You guys can be my army. If you've got a sword, raise it high. If you've got a bow, raise it high. If you've got children, raise them high. And raise your voices and let me hear your battle cry. You sound like a bunch of pirates. Send my pirates into the castle wall and you take my castle for me. Right, our machine is called Ursula the Bear. She stands 18 metres tall and weighs 22 tons, made of ash and made of oak. And our Trebuchet mistress stands at the rear of the device, ready to remove both of the safeties. The first safety is a chain. So everybody here, on the count of 3, shout as loud as you can, remove the chain, listen for the reply. 1, 2, 3!
Remove the chain!
So the arm is now free. You now need to engage the trigger. After 3, shout remove the pin, listen for the reply. 1, 2, 3!
Remove the pin!
That's it, we're set, we're live, we're ready to go. This is technology is perfect in the 13th century, will bleed into the 14th century and then be replaced, as it were, by the cannon. However, we're about to send an 18-kilo rock 200 metres at a speed of, from a standing start, at 150 miles an hour. It's going to be quite impressive. We are missing one element though, and that element is a countdown from 10 down to 1. And when you get to 1, the command phrase is loose. It's not activate. It's not fire. I had a school party 2 weeks ago and all 300 kids went, do it! Don't do that, I want loose. Right, since Trebuchet Mistress is ready. Trebuchet Mistress, are you ready? Right, people of Warwick, are you ready?
Yeah!
Right, everybody with me, as loud as you can. 10!
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Loose! My lords and ladies, the mighty Trebuchet! Now, don't go anywhere. As I said over 10 years ago, I walked in those doors. I know exactly how that crew have had to work today. So please, my lord.